Hi, in this video, I want to introduce control systems. And to do that, I'm going to use an example of a boat and how a boat is steered. Okay, and when I'm talking about a boat, I'm not talking about a modern day boat where you press a button and probably the ship turns. Uh, but we'll go back a little bit in time and try to see a boat that is basically manual. Okay, so that's why I've called this video. Is The heading is human control system. So how does a human control a boat steering? So imagine there is a boat, and the center of mass of the boat is shown on the screen. Okay, and this boat has a rudder, and it is the rudder basically uh, that is used to steer the boat in different directions. Okay, how does the rudder work? To see that, just imagine that if the boat is moving in the horizontal direction, that is, if it is moving in this direction, the water with respect to the boat is moving in the backward direction, right? Now, if your desired course is different from the direction in which the ship is moving, so you want the ship to turn uh, to a certain angle. Okay, so what do you do? What you do is you turn the rudder. When you turn the rudder, what is going to happen? This water is going to hit the rudder, right? And as it hits the rudder, it produces a torque around this rudder. And that torque actually turns the boat towards the desired course. Okay? And uh, yeah, so that's how a rudder works. And the basic way in which you control how the rudder is turning is by having a wheel. So basically, let's you can imagine that it's like a steering wheel of a car. So as the person turns the steering wheel, the boat turns. Okay. Sometimes instead of a, a horizontally lying steering wheel, it could be a vertical steering wheel. And I mean, if you have watched Pirates of the Caribbean, you would see these vertical steering wheels that Johnny Depp is turning here and there. Now I can't remember whatever his name was in the movie. Okay, so let's just try to kind of formalize uh, the the boat control system, and I've drawn a block diagram to explain that. But before we do that, just think about uh, why you need a person with a rudder standing there and turning the ship. Why couldn't you just in some sense uh, tell the ship to go in a particular direction and it keeps going? Why do you have to keep looking and keep adjusting the rudder so that the ship goes in a particular direction? And the reason, of course, is that there are so many uncertainties that are involved with navigation that you cannot be certain as to how, for example, the currents in the water are or what the wind direction is. And as these variables keep changing, you have to keep steering the boat so that it goes in the direction that you want to, right? And therefore, what we have as the first block in our block diagram is a comparison. So a captain or some person has to stand near the steering wheel, probably with a compass in his hand, and make sure that the boat is going in the right direction. So he has a desired course, and he wants the boat to go. Uh, uh, he wants to make sure that the actual course of the boat is exactly the desired course. So what he's doing is he's comparing the desired course with the actual course. And if they do not match, he wants, if there is a deviation, he has to make a decision as to what he needs to do with the rudder. And basically, let's say he decides that the rudder needs to be turned anti-clockwise. So he turns the rudder anti-clockwise, he turns the rudder wheel, and through some mechanical transmission, the rudder wheel turns the rudder. And as the rudder is turned, a torque is produced on the ship, and the ship goes closer towards the desired course. And as it reaches the desired course, as the actual course becomes equal to the desired course, the person who's controlling the rudder needs to keep making sure, and as soon as the actual course and the desired course are the same, he needs to turn the rudder back to the neutral position, right? So, so what I want you to take away from this is two things. One is control systems are necessary because we do not know the conditions in which our system is going to operate. Secondly, one of the main things that you want to do is you want to compare between the desired output and the actual output, right? And respond to it in some way so that the desired output becomes the same as the actual output, or rather, the vice versa. The actual output becomes the desired output. So, I thought as an exercise, perhaps you can draw a similar block diagram for a car steering. And I think it works very much in a similar fashion, but it probably is an useful exercise to do.